Good morning. Hey, it's Carrie. It's a Monday, my favorite day of the week. How are you on this really early Monday morning as we get ourselves ready today? Wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your interactions in the last few days. It's really been exciting for me, and I just wanted to say thank you right off the top here this morning. So I'm getting ready. As you can see today, I am wearing pink and black, and I am in a very driven mood this morning. I have a lot to get done between now and the end of the month. It's always a crazy last few days. Grab your drink. I am working on iced coffee, of course. Very good. And let's get ourselves together. Get your tools and get a snack if that's what you need. And let's get ourselves ready for the day and the week. I have to tell you while I'm getting started, first thing we're going to use this morning is our CoverGirl. It is our primer, moisturizer, and color corrector. And I love this one. I really do. It is a feels really good going on. So I had the most unbelievable message from one of my followers this weekend that truly did blow me away. I'm not going to mention any names because that's not something I would ever do without somebody, saying it's okay. But I got the most beautiful message from one of my followers, and you guys, I was in a funk, a really big funk, as a lot of you saw over the weekend. My mom's birthday was at the weekend. I was really struggling emotionally, and so many of you reached out and shared your own experiences. Many of you have lost your mom too. And that, guys, that truly does mean so much because we've never met and we just talk on this object, this computer, and sharing that kind of information is so powerful, especially when you're living it, because then you feel like you're not alone in the struggle. And that is a powerful feeling that, you are not, first of all, you're not the only one going through it, but then to have your own feelings validated, that, others share those feelings and that you're not the only one who's, out there on this limb by yourself. And this particular message was just amazing. I'm using my e.l.f. Cookies and Cream primer this morning. I used that on top of my CoverGirl. It's a nice combination. I do have some filming that I have to do today, so I want my complexion to look really flawless today, so we're using both of those. And now we're going to come in with some concealer. And I'm going to go pretty heavy on the concealer today. I'm going to do an experiment today to see if I can figure out a way to hide this indentation right here. We talked about this last week. This is actually loss of fat right here, this line that you see as you age. You also lose fat up in here, which I did not know. And when I saw my mother for the first time when she was really, really sick, I was aghast at how her side of her face had changed and sunk in. Well, she had lost so much weight that that's what happens. You lose it here, and I didn't even know that existed, but you do. You lose it here in your temples, and then right underneath here, these lines that we see that we try so desperately to cover up that line, that's actually lacking of fat. So it's really hard to cover that up. You can cover up the discoloration, but it's really hard to fill in from the outside that indentation. But we're going to give it a good go here today and see what we can find and what kind of results we can get. So this beautiful message from one of my followers was, she asked me if I wouldn't mind to talk a little bit about what my mother taught me and the things that she taught me to use as I was growing up. And if I could remember some products that I used in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I will definitely try. The one absolutely that I know that I have used the entire time is this right here. This is Revlon's Color Stay pressed finishing powder. May not have looked like this in this packaging, but it's the same product, and I have used it ever since I started. My mother used this product, and she swore by it, and I started using it, obviously, and so I swear by it. It's now 2024. Started wearing makeup in the late 70s. So there you go. A long time. So my mother was an absolute, the epitome of the 50s woman, right? That whole era of femininity and making sure that you look like you, making sure that you were always put together, and that every time you left the house, that your hair was done, your makeup was done, your clothing was clean, your clothing was pressed. My mother instilled that in me very, very young. And she told me, she said, you know, when you get married, obviously you don't need to wear makeup every day, but it's very important for you to remember when you get married, yes, you're married, but you still want to look good for your husband. You still want to look like, you know, the woman that he fell in love with. So it's important for you to take care of yourself and to do your makeup, do your hair, you know, have your clothes look presentable. And that really stuck with me. And my mother, I mean, when I tell you she was put together from her earrings to her clothing to her shoes to her bag to her wallet. I mean, she was put together, and she was the epitome of that generation. And I can remember looking at her friends and thinking there was a few that were similar, but not everybody was, you know. And I can distinctly remember the difference between my mom and a couple of other ladies. I grew up on the PGA touring golf circuit. My dad's a retired pro golfer. And so I can remember sitting in the family breakfast room and comparing other wives to my mom and a couple of other wives that we were very, very close to. And I can distinctly remember today, thinking back today and thinking, why don't they look like my mom? Why don't they take the time to put themselves together? And that really resonated with me at a very young age. And so I have just always followed her direction, and I have always taken very good care of my skin. My mom, when I first started wearing makeup, my mother wore Elizabeth Arden most of her adult life. There was some Clinique products that she tried. I tried Clinique, but I cannot wear Clinique. Something in their products does not like me, and so I couldn't continue to try to wear Clinique. So I wore a lot of Elizabeth Arden products. That's a pretty high-end makeup line, obviously, but it's what I was exposed to, and so I wore a lot of her products. I do remember in the 70s and 80s, I did wear a lot of CoverGirl and Maybelline. and Revlon, because those were the main brands back then. Unless you went to the big department stores and you went and you bought, Elizabeth Arden, Christian Dior, Lancome, those type of things. But that stuff was it seems to me a little bit even more expensive back then than it is now. Now that just could be because I was younger and I didn't quite understand money and all of that, but it seemed to me to be very, very expensive. Okay, I just came back in on top of that other concealer and I added some Joa concealer, and I definitely have covered up the discoloration underneath my eyes. But as you can see, there is still this line right here, and that is probably the one thing, maybe two things, that I would actually consider any sort of surgical intervention for, is that right there, and then this right here, where I have so much loose flapping skin from my weight loss surgery. Anyways, back to so we used a lot of those products. My mom's skincare routine is pretty much my skincare routine because I learned it from her. It was definitely a twice a day with the washing of your face with a mild soap. To this day, I still use Dove. The original Dove. It's a very, very mild soap. It's not a drying soap for me. My mother introduced me to that, and I have never changed. I'm kind of a creature of habit, as you guys have seen. So we would, every day wash your face. And the routine with the washing of the face is just, wash your face really good with as warm a water as you can. And then as you are finishing that, then close your pores up with the cold water after that, and then moisturize. And I don't remember the moisturizers that I used. I'm sure they were some sort of, until I got married and had to be on my own budget, an Elizabeth Arden. Yeah, it would have been an Elizabeth Arden product. I also used a toner up until I got married. When I got married, I stopped using the toner because I didn't feel like I needed the toner, to be quite honest. I learned a lot of things in the modeling industry when I was in the modeling industry. A lot of things that I thought I needed, I didn't really need, which is really interesting. You learn from makeup artists really quickly that products can be used for dual purposes. One of the things that I have always used, and my mother did introduce me to, was loose setting powder there, and I think this product is still available. It is you've probably seen it at your local store or at Ulta. It is a sort of tanny orange round container. It's got little flowers on it, and it's a big container. It's probably one of the biggest loose powder containers you can buy, and it's not expensive. I have worn that up until 2 years ago when I found Laura Mercier's product, and I still have that as backup today. Now I've been using that, and I cannot remember the name of it to save my neck. I'll see if I can find it and share it with you. But so 2 products for sure that I have used and continue to use. 3 products, including the Dove. My mom would also use ice. She would use ice if she had a problem area and she got really puffy under the eyes. She would take little tiny like snack bags, you know what I'm talking about, and she would put crushed up ice in there and then put them in the freezer, and then just put that on for a minute or two a couple of times before she did her makeup to help with the under eye bags that we both suffered with. And the bags, what I mean by the bags is the discoloration underneath the eyes. Okay, let's get in and work on brows. So those products, and then like I said, wash your face, and then rinse your face, and then put your moisturizers on. Another thing that was always in our products is, being Australian, Australians are very susceptible to skin cancer, and so the makeups, the foundations that we use, I always make sure that there is an SPF in the foundation. I just would prefer it to be in the foundation versus putting it on separately, and so that's really important. And another thing that my mother absolutely installed in me very, very young is that because we were on the golf course all the time with my dad, following my dad around at the golf tournaments that we were able to get to with him, we always had really heavy sunblock on, and we would always try to have a hat or an umbrella. My mom walked with an umbrella because we are so susceptible to skin cancer. And my mother made it very, very clear, very, very young, that it was not a smart idea to just go bake in the sun, that was definitely not a smart thing to do, and so I never did. I never just went to the pool and sat by the pool and roasted in the sun. I just never did that. One, it never was something that I really purposely wanted to do. I probably because being educated about skincare and skin cancer, it's just not something that I was not something that I did or even thought about doing. And now I'm really grateful for it, because so many of my friends would be like, "Oh, let's go to the pool," and I'm like, "No, it's not. I'm just I can go to the pool, but I'm going to have a hat and I'm going to, sit under an umbrella, and so now a lot of my friends, in my age that did that, are really struggling with their skin because they have so much skin damage from the sun. The sun is a wicked, wicked thing. I can just tell you, look at my dad. My dad made his living in the sun, and you can look at my dad's arms and see the damage from the sun. I mean, when you're in the sun 4 days a week for 10 hours every day, it's going to take a toll, and it has taken a toll on my dad's skin. It took a toll on my mom's skin, even though she was very, very cautious about what she did. The sun is a powerful thing, so I try to always work with a lot of block on, and I always try to have a hat on when I know I'm going to be in the sun for more than five or 10 minutes. So that was, it was just a very basic skincare routine. It was, wash your face, moisturize your face, don't sleep in your makeup. My mother made that very, very clear to me, very, very early on. Don't wear your makeup to bed. It's bad for your skin. And just to take care of it, to drink lots of water in the daily course of. I don't want to say we weren't allowed to drink sodas, but in my household we didn't have sodas. We had juices and water and milk, and when we moved to Texas, we started to drink iced tea. We lived in Florida for a little bit of time. So we just didn't have sodas in our house. It's just not something that my mom thought was right, and so we didn't have a lot of sodas in our house growing up. That made a big difference. you know, sodas are really bad for your skin because of the sugar levels, and so we stayed away from that. I will do some more. I promised this lady I would do a little bit more research and think about the products when I can really sit down and think about what we used to do when we'd go shopping, my mom and I, and see if I can come up with some actual names of some products. But those in particular, Maybelline, CoverGirl, and Revlon, were the mainstays of my makeup for really until recently. And what I would say recently, it was in the last 5 years, I've done more research into other brands and other type things because of this, because of social media, because of the exposure that I see when I watch these videos. It's a powerful tool, this format, and so I do a little bit of investigation. But the one thing that I would say that was absolutely, you just always took the time and the effort to put yourself together. And I can remember growing up and going somewhere, if we were going out to dinner or whatever the situation was, and my mom didn't think that I was, and not just not me, my brothers too, wasn't put together enough, I guess is the right word. She would say something, it was, she believed it, and she wanted all of us to be as put together as she was. She was just that way, and she made it very, very clear that that's what she expected. And it wasn't an option. It was do it, sort of thing. My mom, raised my brothers and I, because my dad traveled so much, obviously, because of what he did for a living. And so, mom was, she ran the ship when dad was away. And what mom said is what mom said. And there was no arguing with her. It was, no, this is what she expected. So unless you want to deal with dad when he gets home, this is what I expect you to do, and go do it. But it was those times were very different to these days and these times, and I'm not sure that these times are better than those times. I can just tell you, looking at, I have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother, and none of us were ever in serious trouble. None of us were ever in trouble with the authorities. It was just a different time, and there was a lot different expectations, I think, on our generation as we were growing up. So much has changed, and I don't feel like it's a good change. I look at my children and how the things that they have to operate within the nucleus of their own family, and dealing with schools and all of that, and it's a different time. But anyways, got off subject there. So skincare was important every day. It was a religious thing, and finding good products that work for you and then sticking with it. That is the one thing that she without a doubt hammered home to me, is that you've got to stick with your skincare, and you've got to always make sure that you are on top of it, and don't deviate from it. And use good products. That was another thing that my mom was very insistent about, is finding good products that help you and don't harm you. There's a lot of products on the market that personally I would never use, but that's another video for another day. So I will definitely put my thinking cap on and see what I can remember. Those products and those brands, though, those are the ones that come to my mind immediately. Goodness, I did not do a good job of blending down there at all. Totally missed that area. Too busy yakking my jaws here. Okay, I am using today my House Labs pencil. I do want this very bright, vibrant pink today. And this one is, let me get the name of this one. This one is Fuchsia Shimmer, and it's very pretty. And today for my eyeshadow, I use my it's Dikalu. This is a Sheen palette, and I used let's see, I used this color for my transition. I used this for the lid, and then I actually came in and I accented today with black up in the outside corner right here, and then I highlighted and outlined my eyes with the black. I don't use black very often, but I'm actually wearing a lot of black today, and I thought it would look really nice, and it does against the pink. Okay, now we're going to come through and we're going to pick up the fallout, because there is a little bit, not a huge amount, but there is some fallout. So we're just going to come through with my color stay and get that nice and bright under the eyes. Pick up the fallout that there is, which is not much, like I said, and then just blend in I did forget to do under my jaw here with my contour, my e.l.f. contour. This was definitely not a product that was available in the 70s, 80s, maybe in the 90s, but I don't even remember it back then, and that's contouring. That is definitely, a mainstream product is definitely new. However, there were makeup artists that were using eyeshadow for contour for many, many years, and those makeup artists were so far ahead of the game. They were, 20 years ahead of the industry. Because they could see the difference in your overall look when you used some contouring. It's not something that you guys have obviously helped me to realize that it is an important product in the daily look of makeup, and so I have definitely changed the color of my contour solely because you guys have encouraged me to do that. So all right, when you look back on the ladies from the 50s, in my mind the first thing you think about, right, it comes to mind, is beautiful dresses, high heels, pantyhose, hats, gloves, handbags. I mean, just absolutely put together from head to toe. That was their generation, and so that is what my mom's generation was, and so that is what she instilled in me, is that you don't have to dress like this, but you do have to make the effort to be put together every day. Keep your hair washed. be presentable. That was her word. Presentable. Be presentable. I want you to be presentable. Mom, what do you want me to wear? Well, I want you to wear clothing that's presentable. That would be an ongoing, my opinion of what I thought was and hers sometimes completely didn't agree with each other, but ultimately she won, and I would go upstairs and I would change, because that's just the nature of how the relationship was until I became my own woman and got married and had my own children. And even then, though, if we were going somewhere and she didn't particularly like what I was wearing, she'd say, "Oh, are you wearing that today?" She just came from that generation where it was full tilt. I don't necessarily agree with that, but what I absolutely agree with every single day, and I know this makes a huge difference. I saw it in my mother's whole life. Get up, do your hair, do your makeup, put your clothes on. It just sets you up for a better day. Just does. It sets you up from a confidence perspective. When I am fully dressed and I have my makeup on and I am ready to go, I feel so much more confident than when I don't. Now, whether that's a definition of a narcissist, I don't know. I just think it's taking the time to really take care of yourself and always be presentable, because I've been in the world of business for 43 years. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. That was her profession, and she absolutely had a grand slam her entire life with that. Absolutely. Cook, clean, take care of the kids, take care of my dad, love my dad. I mean, she just did it all. She just did it all. And so she wasn't in the corporate world. I am in the corporate world. And so for me, what is so important to me is I never know if I'm going to get a Zoom call from somebody that is a potential new client or a potential new carrier or a vendor or somebody in the modeling and acting industry that I am now back into. So for me, it's vitally important. I want to be ready to go the minute I get a Zoom call. I don't want to have to say, I've got a meeting, so give me an hour and I'll get back to you. No, I want to be ready to go right then and right there. So when I do take that call or that meeting, I have the ability to make that first impression. You have 10 seconds. And I know I stress this all the time, but it's so important. You just don't know what's going to be around the corner or who you're going to meet or what contact you're going to meet and where that could take you and what opportunities that could bring to you. I just, in my mind, even if you work from home, I think it's vitally important for you personally and then for your career to always just be ready to go and look your best. Just look your best. I just think that it helps in so many ways, and I don't believe that's narcissistic. I believe that's just taking care of yourself and giving yourself every opportunity to seize whatever comes along at any time. Okay, what else did we just do? We just blended with a little bit of more pink powder. I did use my Flower Nose pink blush. What else did we use? The shimmer I did use a little bit of my Jumbo Stick white vanilla cream for up in this area and then just right here in the corner. And actually, I didn't put this in the tear duct, and I want to do that. Just want to put this right here in the corner. This is a great product for that, by the way. Really great product for that. This product, you do find that it goes on better for me anyways if I put it on and then I blend it with a soft brush. That way there's no harsh lines and it just looks really blended in. We are also going to be using Maybelline's Sky High mascara today. So we've got all of our finishing powders on, we've got our lipstick on, so now we're going to come in, oops, but I haven't curled my eyelashes, so that wouldn't do any good without curling them. We'll curl these lashes. So the product lines anyways that were prevalent from my mom were definitely Estee Lauder. She used Estee Lauder perfumes, but she definitely used Elizabeth Arden products. And then as I was growing up and starting my own collection, I definitely used CoverGirl, Maybelline, and Revlon, because those were the ones that were accessible and you could afford them. The rest of them you would go to the department store. We didn't have Amazon when we were growing up, so those were your options, or at the drugstore, or you went to the department stores. And there's been such an explosion in the makeup industry and the skincare industry in the last 20 years that it's just staggering, the difference in the amount of products that are on the market, and the diversity of the type of products that are on the market. I am using one of those products, and it is LifeCell, LIFECELL. I use it twice a day, and I am seeing really nice results. I am definitely helping to repair some of the issues from my weight loss surgery, which affected my skin drastically. I mean, really drastically. It is the one thing that I didn't consider when I made the decision to have weight loss surgery, is how it was going to affect my skin and how my skin looked. And it is the reason why I would consider surgical intervention, because there is no way to counteract those changes but with surgery. There's not a product that I can buy. I'm afraid of fillers, so I would never do anything like that. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to actually go and speak to a surgeon and see what a surgeon would think, and do some research that way. But I'm not sure that I'm quite there yet. That's a really big step. So I've had so much of medical going on last year with my husband and I that the thought of doing anything right now is just, I'm not interested. So we'll just see what transpires through the year, and then make a decision maybe next year if that's something that I want to pursue. It'll also depend on how much work that I'm doing, in the modeling and commercial acting world. If I start to get a lot of commercial print work, that could be a factor in moving that timeline up. We'll just see. I don't know. Okay, so I'm using my Maybelline. I have put on a first coat here. I'm just going down now and doing the bottom lashes, getting into the corner that I can't get into from when I go to the top. And I always start down at the bottom. You guys know this, because what I'm doing is I'm using the product to hopefully lock that curl in. And coming back up to the top, I'm putting another coat on. All right. Let's put my glasses on, because I am blind as a bat. Somebody said, oh, you're very talented, you can put mascara on with your glasses. Well, no, not really. But I am blind as a bat. When I'm filming here, I can see, but I can't see, right? I'm kind of guessing. So that's why I'm using a small mirror and looking this direction, so I can make sure that I'm not putting, the wrong product in the wrong place, if you will. Let's see. Well, that looks good, but we definitely got some, definitely missed some blending here today. All right. Nice. Okay, I think that's it. I did promise I will try. I am really working very hard. I started yesterday to compile a list of all of the products and the links that go with those products, and I'm working on that. As soon as I finish that, I promise I will put that in my videos moving forward so you can just link on it. Don't forget, there are product discounts available on my main page, which is my full name, www.carriedevlinscroggins.com. If you go to that page, you'll see a section that says products. You can click on that and you can get links to Flower Nose and Natasha Denona. I've got several others in the works that I'm waiting on, and I will let you know when those are available as well. I also wanted to just, I had a question, and this, I think this is a sort of a subject that I think is important to talk about. There's a lot of filters. When I film with you here, there's no filters. It's just a camera and a light, and that's it. When I'm doing snapshots, or I'm doing thumbtags, or I'm doing other things in my marketing, I do use filters sometimes. And I think that that's totally okay. I think that if you want to improve how you look and it's reasonable, then do it. And I don't think you owe anybody an explanation for that. If it makes you feel more confident, that's your business. That's my business. And I just think that it's your choice and it's your decision. And if you want to use filters whenever you want to use filters, then use filters. And I don't think that it's really I don't think I have the right to tell you not to do it, and I don't think anybody else has the right to tell me not to do it. That's a very personal decision, and if you feel like it enhances whatever you're working on, then it's like makeup. Makeup's a filter, right? Because we put makeup on to enhance ourselves, to enhance our outward beauty. True beauty comes from the inside out, and makeup just helps you bring that out and improve the outside. Okay? It's a filter. It's just a physical filter. You can use now an automated filter where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to put any makeup on, and you can still make yourself look presentable and realistic. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So thank you so very much for all of your wonderful comments this weekend. I really struggled with my mom's birthday this weekend, and you were so kind and so courteous and so thoughtful to send me words of encouragement. You guys just are an amazing, amazing community, and I appreciate you all so very much. I know you have a choice, and partaking in this small little endeavor just means the world to me, and I do appreciate it. I look forward to this every day. I really do. And I appreciate the fact that you guys questioned where I was the other day because I was traveling. So that makes me feel really good. That makes me feel like I am reaching you, and that's what I want. I want us to create this wonderful, safe community where we can exchange ideas, experiences, so we can, all of us, live our very best life, have everything that we want in life, successfully have it all. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason why you should want to have it all. And to always remind you, your age doesn't define who you are or where you're going. It shouldn't. Especially right now in our society, there are so many different things that are available at any age to help you reach your goals and your dreams. Maybe there's a dream that you dreamed that you didn't see come to fruition. Go for it. Why not? You get one go at this beautiful thing called life. So just go for it. Don't be at the end of your life and have regret. make sure that you try to get where you want to go at all times, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. I'm doing it right now. And if you'd asked me this 3 years ago, I'd have looked at you and go, what, are you crazy? There ain't no way I'm doing that. But I am, and I'm having a great time, and I'm fulfilling a dream that my mom and I had together. And that to me is it's priceless. Let's just put it that way. It's priceless. So it's Monday. You know how I feel about Mondays. Get out there and hit a grand slam. Start your week off. Catch up. Get organized. Plan your week out. Mondays are a great opportunity to reset, rethink, and recharge for this coming week. Hope it is a fantastic week as we head into March. Spring is right around the corner, and that in itself is a new beginning. So, I'm going to put a challenge out here to my community members. What one thing in the spring is a goal for you to achieve, whatever it is, personally, in your house, whatever. And let's share that. Let's share what our priority is for spring, that we get done in this spring. So spring runs anywhere from March through the middle of May is kind of what I think. So for a 6 weeks period of time, what is the most important thing that you guys want to get done? And let's share it and talk about it with each other and encourage each other to get those goals done. We can do it. I know we can. I know what mine is already, and I'll share it tomorrow. Have a blessed Monday. Get out there, hit your grand slam. Please, if you would, like and subscribe. Join the community. I would love to have you. You are welcome here. And make it a fantastic Monday. Make sure you hit the bell so you know the next time I post a video as well. So we'll see you then, guys. Thank you so much again for all your wonderful support, your encouragement. I just think you guys are the best. And I love the fact that we can come in every day, start our day off, and get ready so we can have the best day ever. You make it that way for me, so thank you. God bless.